So I was here for the 24-week program. And for your final horse, you have to shoe a whole, it's a journeyman run, so you have to shoe and trim a whole horse and make handmaids in 2 hours. And it's tough. Like it took me 12 times to pass it, because you don't just have to do it in time, you have to be to a certain standard. So I was trying and trying, and I finally finished in time, which was like a big goal, but my shoeing just wasn't up to standard. And so Chris was like, Jess, like maybe just take the day off tomorrow, like just, you know, do some regular shoes. I was like, okay. And I actually, I went home. I didn't live at the school, but my mom showed up at my door, and I was like, Chris, I'm not coming to school today. I was like, I'm gonna hang out with my mom. And she's like, no, I think you should do a final horse today. I was like, no, I'm just like, I'm beat up, I'm tired, like, I'm gonna hang out with my mom. And you know, she's from Canada, so she just showed up, like, and he's like, no, I really think you should do final horse. He called me, and I was like, Chris, like, leave me alone, like, you know, like, he was texting me, he's like, you gotta do this. And maybe he just knew, but he's like, I got a horse for you, come meet us here, I got your tools set up. Like, I was like, okay. So I went, and I passed my final horse that day, and my mom was there, and it's a really special, like, experience for me. Sorry. It's hard, but it's worth it. Like, it's a part of me now. And it's a really special part of me. And the connections I've made with Chris and Kelly, like, they're priceless. Sorry.
We've been pretty blessed here to have a career changing people's lives, and it's an amazing place. It's really like no other place on the planet that I know of. And so we get people here, and man, we work them like rented mules. They bleed, they sweat, they cry. It's the hardest thing they've ever done, and they're like, man, that was amazing. I want to go back. I want to be a part of that again. And it's something you can, if you've ever been in the military, you have an idea what I'm talking about. You capture that with a certain group of people, and you have a common goal, and you have a common antagonist, and you have a very tough situation, and you're able to get through it. And that's kind of what we produce here at the Heartland. So what that does do is, if you have that grit in you, you rise to the surface. So we've made a whole program out of demanding these unrealistic expectations and then fully expecting people to achieve them. So that brings out the best in people, in my experience. So Mario was going to do a promotional video for me, and I thought, man, that sounds pretty cool. And then he recorded Jess. And so Jess is a girl that came to school a couple years ago, very sweet young girl, and had never had any experience. She was just soft as a marshmallow. And so we were able to turn her into something hard. Her sister came to pick her up, and her sister was like, wow, man, you're all tan, and you got muscles, and you got, you know, she's got calluses. She can forage all day, and she doesn't bleed. And so she was so much stronger than she'd ever been. Well, when Mario was doing her interview, he got some of her story. He said, oh man, Chris, you got to tell her story. So that's what this video is about.
Before I came to Heartland, I was a ski patroller. I coached snowboarding, and then I was doing like ski patrolling, and I was working towards my EMT. And then I kind of just switched gears, and I was like, no, I'm gonna go to horseshoeing school instead. I'm a city kid. Like, I never really had horses, never done anything with them, really. My grandpa had a horse that I rode, you know, once in a while when I was like little, but.
So when she came in the first day, her fingers were pink and her eyes were wide, and she was like, what did I get myself into? But she toughed it out. And so that's the cool thing. If a person gets to the other side of this, they are a different person. We change lives. You know, people come here, and even if they don't graduate, because not everybody does, people come here and they survive this. We've had a lot of people leave here without a diploma with a big smile on their face, and they're my friends forever because of what this place does to them.
I came for the blacksmithing course 2 years ago, and my first day it was me and like 10 guys, and they were all like advanced farriers, like coming for refreshers, you know, to hang out with Chris for a week. And I was like, hey, well, I'm here because I heard that, you know, before my 24-week course, I'd kind of have a head start if I started with blacksmithing. So I came, and my first day I just like, I didn't know what hand to put the tongs in or the hammer, and I didn't know how to light my fire. I didn't know, which way was up, and I turned my blower the wrong way. I singed my hair the first day. I airballed my hammer real bad, and it ricocheted, hit me in the face. Like, I thought I lost a tooth. Like, my first day, I got home and I was just like holding my hands up. I was like, whew, like, okay, like my hands hurt, like to like wash my hair, but by the end of school, I was here 8 months in total, and I was shoeing horses with handmaids in 2 hours.
My first impression of Jess was that she was a sweet girl and she's gonna have to try really hard to get through here. She'd never even held a hammer, I don't think. I think she'd gone to welding school, but I think she come to us right off the ski slopes. So she was a little bit soft.
First time I met Chris, I was like, oh, he's the real deal. Like, he's this big strapping cowboy and mustache, and he's always got a smile on his face, and he's always, he was super friendly from day one. Like, I came out of, not the same background as him at all, and he's just so nice. Like, anyone he comes in contact with, like, he's really good. He's very talented, but like, he doesn't treat you like you couldn't be where he is. Like, he's just like so kind and like accepting of wherever you come from.
Typically, we're attracted to people that want to work with their hands, and so there'll be kids that in school were told they were dyslexic and that they had ADHD and that they couldn't learn, and we attract those kind of people. But a lot of the problem has been people either one, didn't believe in them, or two, didn't care enough about them to teach them the way they need to be taught. So Jess came here and she said, I'm one of those kids that can't learn. I'm one of those kids that can't read and retain, stuff like that, which I told her was a bunch of bull, and we proved her otherwise.
When you come to Heartland, be prepared for blood, sweat, and tears. Like, what comes to mind is just, it's a little bit of everything. Like, like the school's tough, the studying's tough, like the day-to-day life, but it's the connections you make, even like with your instructors or like just your class. Like, it's like some of the most amazing people I've met are like my classmates, because they're not just like the Gregories aren't just instructors. They're not just, okay, this is my job, like it's 9 to 5 and I teach this and like I go home and forget about it. Like, they're thinking about you, and after school they're checking up on you, and they're pushing you, and like they care about you.
So we have had the blessings in our career to have seen people come in and do their first horse, and see them a few years later as journeymen, and then see them 10 years later, 6 figures and a nice life and a nice home, and maybe competing in the top of the world, and doing things that they never would have done had they not met you first. And we don't really train that many people a year. We're open for 24 weeks a year. We have 22 students. I mean, it's not like we are turning out hundreds of people, and all of those people that graduate have our name on them. And it's something we take extremely seriously. And when you come here, you get me, you get Cody, you get Kelly, you get our family unit, and it's not run by the guy that graduated last week. We don't start school every Monday. We turn away a lot of students because the people that come here are kind of meant to be here, and our classes fill up. And so many of our students are farriers' kids. We have a lot of students that are already farriers, but we don't advertise, so the people have to find us because they're meant to find us.
It's worth it. Like, every bit of it. Like, I wouldn't do it any other way. I'd do it all over again.